So thank you for coming. I'm Dr. Susanna Park from San Diego Fertility Center. So we are located in California, on the very bottom, right near the border of Mexico. That's where San Diego is. The weather is very similar to Tel Aviv. So these are the topics I will discuss today. Our experience, GPAC, success guarantee, egg donors, gestational carriers, PGS, HIV, our doctors, the concept of working as a team, embryo donation, our in-house embryology director, and tourist destination. So experience. In 2015, we completed 1,255 cycles, of which 66% were egg donor and or surrogate. So we have a lot of experience in this. Many patients within the United States, but outside of the United States, come to San Diego for our third-party treatment. When we say third-party, we mean egg donor and or surrogate. For those who don't know what GPAP is, I strongly encourage you to find out. GPAP is the Gay Parenting Assistance Program. And we offer 1 pro bono cycle per year for egg donor surrogate. And we also offer 25% scholarship discount. It's a great program. So if you have not heard about it, if you have not applied, I strongly encourage you to apply.
But it goes for the flights it's much far than in the East Coast.
Is the cost of the flight much further than the East Coast?
Yes, and these discounts can cover only these cost flights.
Yes, so there are some advantages to having your surrogate in California. So in the state of California, when your surrogate has a baby, your name goes on the birth certificate. You do not adopt the baby. So there's no adoption process. Automatically, your name goes on the birth certificate. It is your baby. In other states in the United States, the name of the surrogate mother goes on the birth certificate, and then you have to adopt the baby from the surrogate mother. And for this reason, California is probably the most popular state in the United States to do surrogacy. Okay. So I know it's far, but the number of visits is actually very small. 2 visits. 1, to give a sperm, and even that you don't have to. You can just ship it from Israel. But 2, to come pick up your baby.
It's a long flight.
So it is a long flight, but we try to minimize the number of visits you need to make.
You're okay?
Yep. Thank you, Igor. And another reason that makes us special is the Success Guarantee Program. And this is separate from GPAP. Okay, so these are for patients who don't qualify for GPAP. So it is a guarantee of a baby.
Yes. So the GPAP, is that open to everyone, or is there certain things you need to qualify?
Yeah, so we don't determine it. Men having babies has a criteria, so you put an application to. Yep, and it's based on. It's based on financial status, but more than that, it's also based on income. Just because you make a lot of money doesn't mean you won't qualify for GPAP, because they need to make sure you have enough money to raise a child, right? So there needs to be sort of a middle ground. You have to have enough money to raise a child, but you can't be super wealthy.
Yeah.
Okay. So our Success Guarantee Program guarantees a baby to take home, a live birth, not just a pregnancy. What does that mean? So let's say your carrier gets pregnant and then she miscarries. We don't say to you, she got pregnant, that's a success. Okay, we don't say that. We say to you, that's not a success. A success is a baby to take home. Keep coming back through cycles. Okay? And if you don't have a baby to take home after you've created all these embryos, you've transferred, and there's no baby to take home, you get 100% of the medical fees you paid our clinic. I can't refund you the compensation you gave to the egg donor, but at least the fees you paid our clinic, we can give you back. See, that makes us very special. Commitment to our patients. Why do we create the Success Guarantee Program? Because as my prior lecture showed, yes, of course, usually it goes well, but it doesn't always go well. And when things don't go well, despite the fact everybody did everything right, why should you be left with no baby and no money? So it's a commitment to our patients that we will stick with you from the ups and the downs of this process. The Success Guarantee is also a reflection of our high success rates, and it's what motivates our center to maintain our high success rate.
What percentage of the medical fees is of the overall spend for the process? How much does that work out?
Well, it depends because we don't have, and it's going to come up. We have our own in-house egg donor, so you don't pay us an agency fee. But we don't have surrogates, so you'd have to still work with an agency for the surrogate. So that's a huge cost, right? That we see none of it. So the money you pay us, the majority you actually end up getting back. So for our egg donors, it can be a family member or a friend. Doesn't have to be through an agency. Or if you'd prefer not to use a family member or friend, you can use our in-house egg donor agency for which there is no agency fee. And that is the website, eggdonorforyou.com. There is no cost to browse the website. Yes, you're sighing.
No,
okay.
my mate.
Or you can use an outside egg donor agency. We do not care. And if you choose to use an outside egg donor agency, you can still qualify for the Success Guarantee Program. You don't have to use our egg donors for the Success Guarantee Program. Why? Because if you bring me an outside egg donor and I medically clear her, then I need to stand by that, right? And if you don't have success from that, then that's on me. Gestational carrier, again, it could be a family member or a friend, or you work with an outside agency. And we work with all agencies. We do not say to you, well, you must go to such and such agency if you want to do treatment with us. We are equal with all agencies, surrogate agencies. So we had a lot of discussion in the previous lecture about pre-implantation genetic screening, PGS. And in a nutshell, what that is we all have 46 chromosomes. And it's to make sure that your embryo has 46 chromosomes, not 47, not 45. What's an example of 47 chromosomes is Down syndrome. It's actually chromosome 21. And why do we care about the chromosomes? Because the most common cause of not getting pregnant or miscarriages is either too much or too little chromosomes in the embryo. Okay? That's very different from a genetic defect, such as cystic fibrosis. In cystic fibrosis, you have the correct number of chromosomes, but you have a mutation in chromosome number 7. Okay, those are not the same things. So PGS just counts the number of chromosomes in the embryo. PGS will also let you know if you are having a boy or a girl. So the advantages of PGS is that it decreases your miscarriage rates. It allows for gender selection. In our clinic, we do not mind if you request, please, I'd love to have 2 girls transferred or 2 boys or 1 of each. We do not mind. Some centers don't like gender selection. We don't mind.
You do allow to choose the gender?
Sure. And we are one of the few centers in the United States that can do a fresh embryo transfer even though you've done PGS. So in most centers, they'll say to you, well, if you want PGS, you can't have a fresh transfer. You have to freeze all the embryos because we need to wait for the results to come back. But at our center, because we do so much volume, the lab works through the night to get us that PGS result in a matter of hours. And so you still have a fresh transfer, if that's what you wanted. HIV, most people assume this, but I want to emphatically state that we provide unbiased care. So your HIV status is irrelevant. Yes, we do screen for it because we have to, but it does not affect the quality of care you receive. And the sperm is all prepped based on the ASRM guidelines.
But it has to be the agreement of the surrogate mother to have...
Yeah, and there are surrogates that are fine with it. Yeah. We've treated HIV positive people in the clinic, yeah. So we have 5 physicians at our practice, and the advantage of 5 physicians is that even though I'm here right now, the care of the clinic continues, right, because there are other physicians there. So 5 physicians is a good number. It's not too little, it's not too much. And because we have 5 physicians, you have the choice of batching or not batching. So what does that mean? So with my intended parents, I always try to be there for their egg donor retrieval and the transfer into the carrier. I like to do it because if things go badly, I want to be responsible for it. But in order for that to happen, I can't be in Israel at the time that the transfer is happening. So I batch. All my patients go through at a particular time, so I make sure that I'm in San Diego and I'm not going anywhere. Some of the other doctors don't batch, okay, which means that if they're on a conference or they're on vacation, I may end up doing a transfer on their patient who may not know me, but we just practice very differently. Okay, so the advantage of having different doctors is everybody does things just a little bit differently. We also all speak different languages. So I speak Spanish and Korean, and we have a physician who speaks Chinese fluently in our practice. And then...
Very relevant to...
Huh?
It's very relevant to this country, to this country.
I know. You'd be
Korean
surprised how...
Chinese
And so,
here.
and we have translations available as well for those who need it. We work in the concept of a team. So every intended parent has a physician, a nurse, and a finance person on their team. And it's very important because that allows for very personal and direct communication. So what we don't want is you say, oh goodness, I need to ask Dr. Park something. So you send a question to general email box. We don't want that. You call our clinic and you're now put on hold. We don't want that. Okay, you need people to have direct access to every member of your team. That's very important to us. We have a program called embryo donation, which many people have not heard of. So let's pretend that you want to be a father, but it's not so important that it's your sperm. You just want to be a father. But you look at the cost of this process and you realize, gosh, this is just a lot of money for me. So we have embryos that other people don't need anymore, that they already have their children, but they didn't want those embryos destroyed. So what you can do is tell us, I would love to be part of your embryo donation program. So in this case, all you would need is a carrier.
5 minutes. Okay.
Thank you. You don't need to create the embryos because creation of the embryos is what makes this process expensive. So you would only need to get the carrier, and then we would transfer the embryos into your carrier. Okay? Or conversely, let's say that you've got all these beautiful embryos made. You have your, let's say, 2 children, and you realize we don't want any more. We're a complete family. Oh my goodness, but I have all these extra embryos left. You can then donate it to us so other couples can use it. And it's completely anonymous donation. Okay? Just a choice. It's a much less expensive choice than creating all the embryos yourself.
How much less?
It runs about $7,000.
And then you know the parents?
Well, you don't meet them, but we give you data on the parents. Yes,
Okay.
yes, like how tall they are, the eye color, hair color, family history, yes, things like that.
That was 7 compared.
Oh, well, depends. A single cycle can be about 20 in the United States. But remember, you have no control of, you know the embryo quality beforehand, but that's it. Right? We have an in-house embryology director, which is very important. So we own our embryology lab. A company doesn't own us, which is the way it is in many centers in the United States. A bigger company owns the lab. We own our own lab. And why is that important? The embryology director is physically present in the lab every day. Should there be a problem, he's there to, what we call troubleshoot, to take care of the problem. But the bigger thing is, sometimes, like I had a single man from Portugal who, I don't know what happened, had a terrible cycle. He had, in the end, he ended up with only 2 embryos, which, again, nobody can guarantee you embryos, but considering the way this egg donor has performed, it was a terrible cycle. And I said to him, because I own the lab, and we own the whole facility, I can say to him, you know what? We will comp you another cycle. You still have to pay the comp for the new egg donor, but this is not what we had expected for you. But we can do that because we financially own the entire operation, and you can't do that if you don't own your lab. Okay, we are very responsible for your outcome. And for those who haven't been to San Diego, it truly is very similar to Tel Aviv. Okay, so we try to make the process so easy for everybody. And I think you were saying how it is far. Absolutely, it's far. Hey, I flew here from California. It is far, right? But we try to minimize it. So we ask for 2 visits, well, really for us, 1 visit. And that 1 visit, we just need about 3 hours of your time. In that 3 hours, we do your sperm freezing at our facility, FDA testing. The FDA is the Food and Drug Administration of the United States that mandates certain testing has to be done before embryos can be put into a surrogate. So we do that as well. You meet your team in person, and you view our facility. And then after that, you're all welcome to fly back to Israel, or you decide, oh, let me check out San Diego, okay? But and that's it. And then you don't come back again until you come pick up your baby.
The delivery is done in San Diego, or
The delivery, it depends on You're a
surrogate.
carrier. That's right.
So
That's
why
right.
do I have to go to the clinic? I didn't understand why I have to go
I need
to-
your sperm.
But you can say that you can fly the...
Or you can
sperm.
send the sperm from Israel, yeah. But to send the sperm from Israel or from any country, it's pretty expensive. Sometimes, there you go, the cost of the ticket is actually cheaper.
And again, so why do I have to be there twice?
Well, the second time is to come get your baby.
But it hasn't to be in San Diego.
Oh, no, it doesn't have to be sent. But in other words, you have to fly. If you picked an agency in California, you'd have to fly again to the West Coast the second time to come get your baby. If your carrier lives in New York or New Jersey, then you don't have to fly to the West Coast, correct? You do have to get on the airplane twice.
Yes, but the surrogate mother has to be there. Okay, but I have to fly there. Her to there.
Oh, yes, but it's very short. So we know the day of her transfer. So she flies the day before. We do her transfer. Next day, she's back on the plane to go back. It's a very short stay. Very short.
הכרטיס זה לא החלק היקר.
לא, זה גם מתווסף, אתה מבין? זה...
The ticket is not the expensive part.
Oh, no, yes, no. No, the most expensive part is honestly, it's the gestational carrier part. It's expensive. It's expensive.
The compensation for the carrier?
Compensation for the carrier, yeah, it's expensive. That's probably the most expensive part of the whole process. Yeah. You know, and the agency fee is expensive. You know, and they work hard for these surrogates and they take care of them. So I'm not saying it's not justified. It's just expensive. Yeah.
כן.
And then you get to view our facilities. I just wanted to show you some pictures of our facility.
Shake.
Yeah.
Shake.
Showing the
Yeah.
your time's up.
Oh, thank you, AJ. And this is the final slide. This is my little boy on the beach. This is my email. So feel free to email me if you have any questions, and I'll tell you when there's a cheap flight to San Diego.
Thank you.
You're welcome. בבקשה.
בבקשה.
Ha 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 ha!